A warm greeting to all of you. Welcome to Rise Up, a channel sharing knowledge for comprehensive self-development through great books. Today, I would like to share with you a video from the biography collection of famous people from Rise Up. Why should we read books about the lives of great people, famous individuals, or geniuses? Because we can learn a great deal from their lives, gain insight into their intellectual sharpness, or understand the strength they use to face life's challenges. We can also learn about their weaknesses, which may help us avoid detours in our own lives. Additionally, reading the biographies of intellectuals takes us to a macro perspective, expanding beyond our personal limitations. In general, the selection of books from Rise Up is diverse and rich, and books about the biographies of famous people are also one of my preferred choices. I hope today's video will bring you many valuable insights. Today, I would like to share an article titled, "True Experts Have Long Chosen a Minimalist Lifestyle," through the biography of Steve Jobs by Walter Isaacson. Please enjoy the following. In 2011, Steve Jobs passed away due to a serious illness. Since then, the world has lost a legend. After his passing, the biography Steve Jobs, the only official biography authorized by Steve Jobs himself, written by Walter Isaacson, was released and later became a bestseller worldwide. Before this book was published, people saw Jobs as a mysterious genius, but after it became more popular, they discovered that this genius was actually a person who led an incredibly simple life. Just as Steve Jobs made the quote, "Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication," his guiding principle when designing Apple products, the same principle applies to life. The simpler the life, the higher the quality. Minimalism in material possessions. One author once said that if a person places too much importance on material enjoyment, they will have to pay the price with their own spirit. In today's fast-paced and noisy society, we are constantly chasing material desires. It is only when we are exhausted and drenched in pain that we realize we are holding too many useless things. We need to learn to simplify our desires in order to move forward with ease. In Steve Jobs' biography, there is a story as follows. One time, Bill Gates and his wife visited Steve Jobs and his wife. Before stepping into the house, Bill Gates glanced at Jobs' house with amazement. "Do you all live here?" Indeed, at that time, Bill Gates was building a large mansion, while Jobs' house was made of red bricks with a roof of small round stones, just like any ordinary house out there. Jobs was not obsessed with the desire to buy a yacht, a mansion, or wear designer clothes. Someone has reported that from 1998 to 2010, during every Apple product launch, Jobs wore the same black t-shirt and blue jeans. He pursued minimalism throughout his life. Less is more. The fewer material desires a person has, the more enriching their life reflections will be. I once watched a TED Talk by the author, philanthropist, and famous American writer Joshua Becker. To the world, Becker is undoubtedly a truly successful man. He owned many stores, and at a young age, he could easily buy luxury cars, mansions, or any expensive products he wanted. However, endless material desires made him tired of chasing wealth. When his mother passed away, he was busy making money. When his children needed his presence every step of the way as they grew up, he was absent. Becker started to think about what he truly needed, and then he quit his high-paying job, reduced 75% of his wealth, and cleaned out 90% of the unnecessary things in his home, keeping only 288 essential items. He realized that when he got rid of unnecessary things, life became simpler and more meaningful. He now had enough time and energy to do what he loved. As Becker said, "We throw away 90% of what is unimportant in our lives, and the remaining 10% gives us more than that." It also aligns with the saying, "By getting rid of the tangible, we can change the intangible world." When we have the courage to abandon those unnecessary desires and organize our lives more efficiently, we can achieve a freer and much richer life. Simplifying material possessions is actually the way that helps us create a new life for ourselves with more complete meaning. Minimalism in work. Steve Jobs said, "I like a minimalist life." But Steve Jobs' minimalist lifestyle was not only reflected in his personal life, it was also applied to his work. In his biography, there is a story as follows. In 1983, Jobs and the Apple board of directors disagreed on business philosophy. In despair, he left Apple and founded his own company. However, after Jobs left, Apple quickly declined. By 1997, Apple had lost $1.04 billion USD and was in a dire situation. To save the company, the board had no choice but to ask Jobs to return. Upon his return, the first thing Jobs did was cut 70% of the company's projects. The leadership at the time strongly disagreed with Jobs' decision, but right after he resolutely eliminated these unnecessary projects, Apple was revitalized. The company's stock price rose by 33%, and its market value increased by $830 million USD. For Apple, Jobs also pursued simplicity. From managing the company to product design, advertising, and marketing campaigns, everything had to be done with simplicity. The result was the iPhone 4, minimalist in design, which ushered in a new era of smartphones worldwide. The simpler things are, the more premium they are. This was Jobs' design philosophy. The simpler the outward form, the greater the intelligence inside, because it no longer depends on appearance, but is based on intellect. That is why Apple was so successful, because extreme simplicity reflects great intelligence. Ultimate simplicity contains a wonderful beauty. Minimalism in relationships. In fact, minimalism is not just in life or work. It can also be applied to your relationships. When you simplify, the world simplifies with you. When Jobs was young, he was a talented and creative man. But behind the exterior of a genius was a volatile personality, often irritable. Many people were drawn to him because of his talents, but they also left because they couldn't tolerate his temperament. Regarding this, Jobs said, "I like to associate with smart people because they don't have to worry about their dignity." Are smart people not concerned with dignity? Of course they are. It's just that they don't care about what's called face or appearance. Instead, they focus on their own personal growth, and because of that, they can always keep an open mind. Steve Jobs never wasted time praising or pleasing anyone, because he always believed that instead of wasting time on unnecessary people, it's better to spend time growing with intelligent people. Therefore, those who can endure high pressure not only become leaders in their fields, but can also become lifelong friends of Jobs. The world of adults is really not that complicated. We might think that an apple is delicious for many reasons, but some people think that a banana is tastier for other reasons. That's not important. We don't necessarily have to try to change each other, and a comfortable relationship is enough as it is. I eat apples with people who like apples. You eat bananas with people who like bananas. As adults, we should live like this. Each person should just satisfy their own preferences. We don't need to live to convince others, and we shouldn't let others convince us either. When it comes to relationships, we just need to choose, not change. Personality and life views are different. So what? Why should we force everyone to conform to one another? Anything that makes you bow down to compete or forces you to put in all your effort to fit in with someone or a group is a mistake. Jobs said, "I stay away from relationships that are not important but too warm and intimate. They make me feel heavy and burdened. I don't talk about unnecessary small talk. It makes me feel peaceful. I love someone carefully because I don't let my emotions overflow. I don't need depth, just simplicity." The most comfortable relationships are definitely simple ones. Minimalism in life. A famous Taiwanese cartoonist dedicated his life to one principle: to live the simplest life, doing what is spiritually enriching. Every day, even if he only had one meal, he found joy in simple dishes like buns and tofu. The ancient Greek philosopher Epicurus, who founded Epicureanism, a philosophy that emphasizes the pursuit of pleasure, a peaceful life free of pain and fear, owned very few possessions and ate simple foods like bread, olives, and water. On special occasions, he might have some cheese. He understood that when we speak of the purpose of life being joy, we do not mean joy derived from spending or sensory pleasures, but rather from the absence of physical pain and mental worries. It is not joy from endless drinking or hedonistic indulgences, nor from lavish food or luxury, but from a state of awakened thinking, where we find a foundation for making choices, letting go, and dispelling beliefs that cause mental suffering. Indeed, the true joy of life comes from simplicity, from letting go and reducing unnecessary desires, allowing us to live with more meaning. In Steve Jobs' biography, there is a detail that when he became famous around the world, he was already a billionaire, recognized by everyone. But in his home, he had no bodyguards, no servants, and even left his back door unlocked during the day. At that time, everyone around him was constantly spending and showing off. But Jobs said, "I have seen people at Apple who, after making money, feel like they are living a different life. They buy sports cars, multiple houses, each house with a butler, and then hire someone to manage all the butlers. Their wives undergo plastic surgery to make themselves eccentric. This is not how I want to live. I promised myself that I would not let money ruin my life." There were only 3 things that mattered most to Jobs in his life: his career, music, and family. And when he was diagnosed with cancer and could no longer manage Apple, the 2 remaining important things in his life were family and music. At that time, Apple employees knew about his illness and suggested holding a farewell party for him, but he always declined, choosing to go home and have a meal with his family. To him, happiness was simple: having a home to return to, people waiting for you, and the lights on to welcome you. As the writer Lin Yutong once said, happiness is sleeping on your own bed, eating food made by your parents, hearing your loved ones speak kind words to you, and playing with your children. We think that such repetitive daily life might seem dull, but it is actually the irreplaceable kind of happiness. Don't you see? The most precious things are often the simplest. Jobs said, "I have this mantra: focus and simplicity. Simplicity is harder than complexity because you have to work hard to make your mind simple. But in the end, this effort is worth it, because once you reach that level, you can shake mountains. The simpler life is, the more you can enjoy the joy, sweetness, and beauty that life offers. By discarding unnecessary material desires, unnecessary pursuits, and unnecessary relationships, you gain strength and deepen your life." Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with friends and those who need it. I hope all of us can purify our lives and hearts to become simpler people in this materialistic, complex world.